President Bush has talked about our staying in Iraq for 50 years.
Maybe 100.
Is that
how long?
We've
been in South Korea. We've been in Japan for 60 years. We've been in South Korea for 50 years or so. That'd be fine with me, as long as Americans are not being injured or harmed or wounded or killed. Then it's fine with me.
Hi, it's Josh Marshall from TPM Media. It's Tuesday, April 8th, 2008. That 100 years in Iraq remark got a lot of attention at the time, and even more now as we're moving into the general election. Barack Obama has been hitting McCain on it a lot over the last few weeks, and now McCain and his campaign are trying to walk the statement back. In fact, John McCain is now saying that it's an example of Barack Obama's inexperience that he's even bringing this up. Here's some comments from McCain on last Sunday's Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace.
This week, you said Barack Obama, quote, doesn't understand national security, has no background, no experience on these issues.
That was in response, when I said he was inexperienced and does not have the background, to the charge of this, quote, 100 years in Iraq. And it was obvious when you read the whole quote, and I hope that at some point we could see that, where I was in an exchange with a voter in New Hampshire, town hall meeting, the kind of exchanges that I enjoy most. He said, how long are you going to be there? I said, it could be 100 years, but it's a matter of U.S. casualties, and we have presence in countries like South Korea, Japan, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very clear. And Senator Obama and anyone who reads that knows that I didn't think we were in a 100-year war.
Now, as you can see there, one of McCain's points is that this was just in back and forth with someone at a town hall up in New Hampshire, so it wasn't like a prepared remark or something like that, or maybe something he said a number of times. But in fact, that's not true. He actually spoke to David Corn of Mother Jones just after that town hall, and there he upped the ante from 100 years to 1,000 years or even 1,000,000 years. In fact, back during the primaries, when it suited his interests, McCain was saying that and things like that all the time. Here's John McCain on Face the Nation a short while after that 100-year remark, talking to Bob Schieffer.
The point is, it's American casualties. We got to get Americans off the front line, have the Iraqis, as part of this strategy, take over more and more of the responsibilities. And then I don't think Americans are concerned if we're there for 100 years or 1,000 years or 10,000 years. What they care about is the sacrifice of our most precious treasure, and that's American blood. So what I'm saying is, look, if Americans are there in a support role, but they're not taking casualties, that's fine. We're in Kuwait now. As you well recall, that we had a war, we stayed in Kuwait.
Now here's the problem with McCain's effort to change the subject from what he said to Barack Obama's attacks on McCain. McCain doesn't say that if we're still involved in fighting a counterinsurgency a year from now or 5 years from now and having American soldiers dying every day or every few days, then we're going to get out. He makes a far more blanket statement that he's happy staying there for 100 years. The other point is that McCain knows as well as anybody that there are very good reasons to think that occupying Iraq is never going to be much different than it is right now. The reason that we were able to keep a long-term troop presence in countries like Japan, in Korea, in Western Europe was because in each of those cases, after a period of military occupation, we were defending those countries from someone else they feared more than us. And if that's not enough, we're not the first Western power to try to occupy Iraq. The British did it in the early 20th century, and it was a disaster for them too. So McCain really is trying to have it both ways. On the one hand, he wants to sound tough, stand tall, and say we'll be there for 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years, whatever. But then he places a little asterisk right there after his statement saying, of course, I mean a military presence or occupation where no one ever gets killed and everybody's happy and nothing ever goes wrong. The problem is there's really very little reason to think that occupying Iraq is ever going to be too much different than it is right now. And McCain won't tell us what he's going to do if he can't turn the occupation of Iraq into the feel-good operation that he says he's talking about. So I expect Barack Obama will keep talking about this because the bottom line is that John McCain really has no serious, good explanation for what he meant and what he still means when he says he's happy to stay in Iraq for 100, 1,000, or even 1,000,000 years. I'm Josh Marshall from TPM Media, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.